on, step into my office and let's get you going.
Hey guys, welcome to the Philly Open layout video. Philadelphia NXL is coming up 20th to the 23rd of June, so only what, 3 weeks away? Games played 21st to 23rd, all shown on Go Sports. Please support them, please tune in. May well be some Facebook Live stuff going on as well by them. You know, just generally, if you're interested in tournament paintball, support them. Before I get going on my layout breakdown, I just want to give a quick shout out as well to anyone and everyone who takes the time and puts in the effort to do their own layout breakdown. Probably the most well-known example is the BKI guys. I know Ryan and Nick just released a video yesterday of their take on this layout. I'd actively encourage you guys, watch as many of these as you can. There's no such thing as too much information when it comes to learning about a layout. Take on board people's thoughts. You know, the levels of playing capability obviously vary. Your levels of playing capability vary. It's one of the hardest things is being consistent in paintball, but there will always be aspects of whatever advice they give, anyone gives, that you can incorporate into your game. No such thing in this instance as too much information. Take it on board. Do it early as well. When you've got, you know, multiple weekends of playing time still to go before the event, the sooner you take this information in, the sooner you can start to digest it and actually assimilate it into your game, your team's game. So, without any further ado, let's get cracking. This is the awesome Philly Open layout. Again, I'm using gunsup.com to facilitate this video. I don't know how many of you guys use them. If you don't use them, you're missing a trick, because it allows you to really get stuck in, really get, you know, move around the angles very, very simply. It's so easy to just flick through and, you know, use all of the tools that are available to you here. So, you know, simply you can go straight in. Keys 1 to 9 give you a real quick look at all of the key angles, you know, every corner, the overhead shots, etc. I'm still going to mess up navigating around this field, but I love that they've made it a lot harder for me to show sky, which is great. And even this is such a great look as well, where you get that printout view, if you like. You know, the grid references I think are huge, and it just gives you the opportunity to really get stuck into refining your game plans. What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? Etc. So, initial thoughts with this overhead, or almost overhead. Right, let's get stuck in. This is my favorite view. So, base camp action, and we are snake on the right, D side on the left, at the base camp, and instantly your back center is this little guy, a temple. What I like immediately is the fact that off the break, back center has shots left and right from both ends, obviously, and they're not tiny gaps either. You can shoot to the left of those central pins that you see into the towers. You can shoot to the right of the opposing back center, which gives you an early window to catch any, you know, any delayers in that pocket before they break out snake side. So instantly I love that there's good options. If you want to be slightly more adventurous, you can bump out, you know, towards this D side tower, or rather the D side towers, because really back center, opposing back center can still shoot you here, Here, you're safe from that opposing back centre. And to a certain extent, that player loses you. They don't know if you're staying at the back tower or if you're going forward. The added bonus of coming out wide is that that big central brick just to the left of the centre line blocks your path from the back centre shooting you getting out to this corner bunker. Now, immediately you'll notice that the corner bunker isn't in the actual corner of the permissible, you know, width, if you like. So it sits inside that tape line. On the tape line, you only have 4 bunkers, and they're all clustered, you know, 35 to 35. So within, 30 yards of each other. Starting with that little mini win, and then going up to the wedges that are laying down. If we look at the tape side, that's your tape side view. Once you're there, any player in this back bunker can't really do much about you until you are deep, until they are deep in your territory. So I can see this being the stop off. I can't see this being heavily utilized as, you know, I'm here all game with 10 pods. But initially off the break, I think it's very usable. I think it's a great platform to, a springboard if you like, to move further up the Ds. Now, let's continue to just look back line at the minute. And if we go snake side, yes, you got your back center with good shots. As you edge out towards the snake side, you block off the towers who really wouldn't even be in the bunker to get a shot on you. You use the pin to block off the back center, and you're only really taking a couple of steps, if that, by this stage. And you've got a pretty secure run. Initially you can go to this can, which is halfway to the tape if you like, or, and this is what I suspect we'll see a lot of people do, you can go forward to that tall cake, this guy here, or you can really, you know, bite off a chunk and go early to this central brick. I think we'll see a lot of plays where teams send a player here and he tries to control the snake side. I think you'll see a lot of plays where the can is used because it has such a great shot. Let's see if I can get the perfect angle for you guys. It has such a great shot on that snake side temple, and also a little window going to that snake side corner. So if we look at the snake side corner, again, it's set in from the actual tape line. So you've got options. What I like is on both tapes, you've got a little corridor. You've got a corridor of, little kill zone corridor, let's call it, that sits inside that tape line. So if you go to the widest position on either tape, you have 4 bunkers to play with. And what's pretty cool is they're identical on both tapes. So this is a layout where we might see some transitioning of that stereotypical snake player starts getting spins on the D side. You know, this is where we see Goldman on the D side for impact. Will you see Suez play the snake side for impact? That type of scenario, and that's pretty cool because this edge / tape line profile is identical either side. You know, all of these guys can play all of these positions, so there's options. And for once, you know, we might see players' versatility really show, which I think would be a hugely positive thing. Especially if you're watching, you know, Go Sports Live, any of the Facebook live streams, etc. I think this initially, to me, is one of the more viewable layouts. I like that. Right, let's get sorted and talk about off the break views. Ooh. So, off the break, I think you're going to see a lot of teams double up in this back centre, because the lane to the left and the lane to the right, whether that's D-side or snake side, is so shootable. It doesn't matter what division you play, it doesn't matter what position you play initially, in the sense of every player can get a gun up and shoot a good lane here and feel involved in the course of that point. Yes, they'll do it with different levels of success, but ultimately it's early initial involvement, and I think the teams that embrace that opportunity and use that opportunity the best will get the initial rewards of kills off the break. If we look snake side initially, you've got that initial lane just to the right of the back centre towards the NXL logo at the far end. That's a great lane that, you know, right-handed from this particular end, most players will take and be comfortable. If you are capable of being a little more patient, you've got some shots over that central brick. If you're really patient and confident in your ability, let's see if we can get you a in bunker snake side angle. Okay, so you got a slight window to shoot the back of the snake. You got a really good shot though on snake 1, and consequently snake 1 has a really good shot on you. So when we talk about off the break and there being a couple of guys in here, I think it's very important to underline that with the fact that this is only off the break. This is a 5-second window. Once you've taken your shot, one of you has to go. Potentially both of you have to go. But I think early on we'll see double up there and then one flake out to either side, depending on what the game plan of choice is. I like the shots over the top of that brick on the snake side, going into the snake corner, which is a tall cake. You also have the temple in front of the tall cake. Let's see if I can just illustrate. So this is the area that you're shooting into. Everything that you see on your screen here is what you're shooting into. I think it's a almost impossible shot to get that corner consistently killed off the break from the back center, but I think that there's a good opportunity to drop into this, let's say, pocket that contains the entry to the can, the exit from the can towards the temple, the entry to the tall cake, and the entry to the snake. And you know, this is an area of the layout that is going to be very utilized throughout the course of every event that uses this layout. So instantly good shots off the break. Snake side break, let's have a little look at that. Yes, the can's good off the bat. I feel it's relatively safe, it's very attainable. You've got to be super loose to get punished there a lot. If you look at the shot from that tower, from that back centre rather, late on it's a tiny window. It's early on that is the danger, and really you're looking to kind of, if you are set up at the edge of this base camp, start gate, you want to stretch with your marker in one hand and your feet as far away from that base camp as you can, so that your initial step is bang and you're in and you're safe, or relatively safe. You can enhance that safety by moving low into the bunker rather than standing high, and really you're through the danger before it even becomes a danger. When you're in this area here, for me, this lane that goes towards that NXL logo in the background is passable early, but if you want to get wide, pass it early. Don't hang about in the can and delay to try and get out, because if you choose to do that, they will undoubtedly have guns up, no pun intended, through this lane and make it harder for you to move through this lane. So I think take the risk early. I feel the corner's very playable. If we just edge up a little bit here, we can see what can shoot you. Corner's playable in the sense of the pin on the 50-yard line, just beneath that central guns up layout, slightly lighter in colour, blocks out the can from the inside. The tempo has a bit of a shot on you. The corner has probably the best chance of making life difficult, other than this 50 brick. So let's see, if we wrap around here low, it's really this guy in the center, that 50 brick, that's going to make life difficult for you. Let's get real low, and let's just see, if we go as low as we can go, can't even see the top of the corner, so they'll be fishing at that point. And what I mean by that is throwing paint in an area that they think you could be moving through. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't pay off. What is often the hardest part to navigate is the fact that you don't know how effective a job you're doing. You just sometimes see players leave the field and hope that it's your paint that's caught them whilst they were snoozing. I think anyone who's willing to go low and fast here can round that danger. I think you can see the back centre there as well in front of that start gate. They've got to be super patient to take this shot and to kill you as you kind of move into this area. Obviously the shot gets better and their awareness of you making that move increases as the move unfolds. But I think smart and early wins this particular move. I think it is pretty livable in this area for a lot of the time, but then this gap here, if there's a smart player, oh, that's the pin. I thought for a second it could be the can. You can see the can over the second knuckle of the snake in this view. If there's a tall player who is very field aware and sees you make that move from the back corner, let's see if I can get a shot. So the can on the back line that is hidden mainly behind that pin, if they notice you going from this corner bunker into the snake, then I think it's a great shot for them to actually ignore the fact that you could go into snake one, because that's a, you know, almost impossible shot for them because of the pin blocking it out. Ignore that fact, shoot over snake 2 and try and catch you in this dead area, because when you go wide and you negate this little corridor of death from anyone who's also wide, this area here, literally this quadrant, is where you'll get caught. And I think that can catch you there. When you're in here, then you've got choices. You can cross the corridor into snake 1, or you can continue forward into this bunker on the 40. Now in here, this looks an absolute playground. What I love is you've got great crossfield shots. As well as having great crossfield shots, by the way, you've also got the visibility of where your teammates are at. It's quite rare on some layouts that you can see tape to tape well, and most importantly you can see the key areas well. Here you get to see, okay, are they at their 40, which is the mini win bunker behind that Dorito. You also get to see, are we at, you know, their 35 is that mini win, are we at our 40 in that big brick? You can't see their big brick, which isn't a problem, but you can get a real ascertain of where you're at and what you're doing. You know, you can see D3 as well, if we call the corner and then D1, 2, 3 going up. And you've got a sense of what's going on the other tape, and it's really just a sense is what you require. If we look tape side, it's tape or nothing. There's no wrap shots at this moment in time, because if you're gonna wrap to there, you don't have a great shot. You may as well go up to here. Before we do that, let's rewind and just check off snake 1. So in snake 1, this looks a pig to me. It looks an absolute pig of a bunker to be in. So in that, so many people can shoot you. Yes, you may have good shots, but are they great shots? Are they shots that you can take with sufficient clarity and safety? Or will you come up not really having done your homework, try and get a kill from, let's say, D2, but then get smoked from the back center in the process? If that's the case, then are you better off taking a different approach, living, being smart, coming into this guy? And when you're in this guy, you have a vastly different prospect in that. Let's just check before. Yeah, safe from the back sender. Got a quick kill on that tower, and that would be the back tower, because you can't see the front tower. So that's the tower on the 20-yard line. You got a good kill on the mini wind bunker on the 35. Obviously you got to check off the central brick, but it gives you options, and it gives you, real clarity of being able to get stuck in the snake side and work. And I like that. Now, the downside is it involves crossing this corridor, and there's a lot of potential for players to weave in and out of this tape line series of bunkers and create havoc. Players will get lost, and this doesn't mean they don't know where they are. It means they don't know where their opponents are and often what's going on. Some will thrive in that scenario, others will struggle. I think if you're watching this, what's the date today? June 7th. If you're watching this prior to playing on this layout for the first time, hopefully on the weekend of 8th and 9th of June, get out there and try it. Get out there and see what works, see what you're comfortable with, learn from everything that happens, good and most importantly bad, and process, okay, when this guy's at the tall tower on the 20, this is what I can do. This is what I need to do to be able to do what I want to do. That type of approach is going to pay huge dividends. Now, the little bump from in snake 2 to this wedge is a tiny little bump. If there's a player in this brick, and I think by the time players get into snake 2, there will more than likely be players in this brick, in that you can break to the brick on the off, and I think you can get to snake 2 reasonably quickly. I think this little window is going to be another kill zone in terms of the brick killing players going. I don't think many players will have the ability to shoot back at the brick consistently in such a small distance. And what I mean by that is the distance between the snake 2 and that wedge on the tape is minuscule. That's a 1, 2, 3 ball max, unless you're really ramping before you go type of window. Conversely, I think the brick can just sit there and bait people in, and I think you'll see a lot of careful breaks to that brick where the players doing it are very mindful of, I don't want to touch this bunker and give away the fact that I'm here. I want them to think I'm not here, feel confident in making the bump to the tape side wedge and kill them as they go. At least that's what I would do if I could make it to that brick alive. I have that elusive speed where people don't think I'm going to do it, but somehow I end up there. It's about as far from flat out fast as you can get. That's a better shot of that window, and you can see it's a better window for the brick player. What I like though is you're pretty safe from everyone else. The tower would notice too late. The D-side back corner can't really do anything at that stage. So the brick is the biggest danger. Now when you're in there, let's have a little look. When you're in this wedge, and let's assume there's no player in the brick, or, I mean, it's one of those scenarios where you have to check it off. You have to check off if there's somebody there initially. That's one thing, yeah, and you got a choice. Do you live or do you duel? If you decide to live, good for you, but be mindful that they could come and get you. If you decide to duel, it's going to go one or two ways. You die, they die, or even actually a third, you both die. What I think will happen is players will make this bump to this tape side wedge without realizing that there's somebody in this brick, and without the brick realizing that there's somebody in this wedge. So there's going to be a constant requirement to stay alert and check these things off. If there's nobody there initially, it doesn't mean that there was nobody there when you made the move. They could have just been focused on D side. And this will apply to when we look at the D side in a moment as well. So don't take it for granted. Just because when you made the move, or when you first did your initial foray inside to try and get kills, just because there was nobody with a gun pointed back at you on the brick, they could have just been tucked in the other side. You've obviously got the back tower to kill. If you're doing a real big wrap, you've got, the tall cake on the inside, and you can even play with that can. Be mindful though, as soon as anybody calls you here, if there's anybody tape side on at the opposing end of the field, they're going to launch and come and get you. And this is where I think we'll start seeing the weaving. Now, let's assume tape side is clear. As you wrap a little bit from this wedge, you have your first good shot on the corner. Now, this is a real kind of catch them snoozing. This is far from safe because it's very hard to pick up if there's players wide, even from a wide position, especially if they're playing inside. If they are wide, it's very easy for them to move into this snake line. So I think it's, just be mindful. This is a constantly evolving situation that you constantly have to keep a check on. What I like is you've got a better shot, and let's raise up a little bit here. You've got a better shot at that back sender. If you're doing an extreme wrap, you've got that tower and the tall cake, obviously, and you've got the D-side corner before you get to D1, back of that front tower, wrap a little bit more, wrap and be smart and go inside and go low. Let's see, and you've got, D1, D2, D3, etc. Obviously the wedge, still can't shoot there. The brick on the 50, still can't shoot their big brick on that D-side tape line, which again isn't a bad thing. Isn't a bad thing at all. When you are at their wedge, let's just raise it back up a little bit. You've got the center to kill. Wrap shots galore. The temple by the snake. Snake 1. The can's pretty safe unless they're, super loose. Back sender should be dead by now. Come round, bunker snake 2, etc. What's interesting is you will have the one player goes tape side on the wedge, one player goes inside from snake 2 to kill the wedge, and I think we're going to see quite a lot of those Benny Hill moments. Q Go Sports to get the Benny Hill music ready, please. where players are running round these tape side series of bunkers, or running in between these tape side series of bunkers and the snake to try and get those final kills. Sometimes it's going to come off. Sometimes it's actually going to work out where the team who was really up against it and, you know, having their opponents on their side of the field is going to come off smelling the roses. So this is going to be a great layout to view, in my opinion. When you get real deep into opposing territory and you start living in their snake, look at those shots. D2, D1, D2, D2, D3 and the far tape. You got a good shot on the back of the brick. You got a little shot on D1 there. So D1, 2 and 3 are shootable from their mini win. Far side is shootable. Both of those, you know, tape bunkers. Central brick is clear by now. Inside you got the tall tower at the back and the back centre. Tape side, you should be home and dry, in the sense of corner doesn't really have anywhere to go other than run at you. Can, if they're locking them down D side, that should be a quick simple kill. Same for that temple. Run down to their corner. Behind everybody. Happy days. Run into this buzzer. Boom. So will we see another Russian Legion 9-second point? Who knows? Right, let's backtrack. Back to this start gate and let's have a look at D side. In fact, before we go D side, let's finish this in that a couple of bunkers we've not touched on. This temple, which is the god, the gateway to the snake. Just give you a slightly better view of this. Okay, attainable off the break, but such a waste. As in, I think if you're running with momentum to this bunker, you may as well get in the snake. This isn't even a stop off. It's in such close proximity to that snake line that I really feel if you're gonna run this route, go all the way. Go all the way, because there's more to gain and it's worth the risk. I think this is more of a, right, I broke to the can and I'm going to see what happens. Or I've got a player in the snake. I don't feel the need to go to the tape line because I can't support them on the tape line. So more specifically, I've got a player in the snake who's wide. I want to back them up. Where can I do that best from? And that's where I feel this bunker comes into play. It's an overwatch for anybody running down the snake on the inside. The overwatch for anybody running down the snake on the outside is virtually impossible. So that also adds the perspective that your snake player has to be self-sufficient in that area, in the sense of if they're expecting somebody to look after them and stop them getting bunkered, this isn't the layout to do that. You need a accountable snake player, in that they check off shots inside, they take those shots inside, they're mindful of the fact that at any moment they could be getting bunkered down the tape, so they play accordingly. Okay, if you choose not to go wide and you want to go up the gut, I feel that this is very attainable, even with that lane that the back tower has on you. I would choose not to play inside because the pin gets in the way of a lot of stuff, and it's both towers can shoot you and you've got to fight two guns in a relatively small space to try and get out on the inside. So with that in mind, I think a lot will play tape side. I don't think this will be used a lot, but I think it'll be used every now and then just to throw a spanner in the works. And I really feel that it could be that springboard to get past the 50 in the snake early. it could be an inside run where you flake out and you kind of cross this lane here. Again, it's a not very often play for me. It's a great play when you're playing 5-on-3 because the other team drew a major the prior point, and you feel that because there's fewer guns off the break, it's safer to make that move. I feel that the more appropriate use and the more common use of this is maybe a potential stop off, get a kill from anybody delaying through this pocket, and then go up here. And once you're here, let's try and give you a better example of, right, okay. This is what life in the brick looks like. You got the outside of that tall cake in the corner. You got the entry into the snake, but then when they're in snake 1, it's tuck in and live. If they tuck you in and you have to live, they could be anywhere. They could have stayed at snake 1. They could be at the mini win on the tape. They could be at snake 2. They could be up in this wedge. They could be at your wedge, chopping you up. Only a few will play this bunker well. If you are one of the few who is confident enough to try early, learn, get processing. I can't emphasize this enough. If you are on a team or you're a player who has the luxury of being able to play this layout for the next 2 weekends prior to the event that's 3 weeks away, get processing. It doesn't have to work all the time. It's actually better if it doesn't work most of the time, because it means you're out of your comfort zone and you're doing things that will enable you to learn how to play this layout better. So get stuck in. Now, if you choose not to play the snake side from this brick, which is, you know, a bold statement as a play, you've got the other 50 to be mindful of. You've got Dorito 3 to be mindful of. You've got the mini win on the D side. You've got the back of D1. You're blocked from D2. You're blocked from the inside of the corner, unless the corner wraps on you. And you've got both of those towers. Kill all of them, and then you can shoot the back center guys they try and fill out. Easy peasy, right? This looks such a fun layout. Let's go back. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Zigzag our way. Okay. So, we are now poised to break out. Just to prove that I can still get some sky. There we go. Now poised to break out on the D side. Let's go a little bit higher. There we go. So, poised to break out on D side. And we've got the opportunity to get a gun up instantly and shoot. You can either shoot down the gut at that NXL logo directly in front of you on the back line. What you could do, and I think what a lot of players will try and do, is maybe get an early gun with a cross-field lane. So you can shoot between the pin and the can in the center of the field towards the NXL logo on the right, sorry. And you can shoot further right. You can shoot towards the other logo, which I can't quite make out. What is that actually? Oh, it's a Go Sports logo. Awesome. So you can shoot towards the Go Sports logo, which you can see there. So that lane in the center of your field. So it's catching anybody running snake side wide. So is the lane between the back center bunker, the home bunker, and that stand-up can. And I feel that you'll get all of the I can stand here and shoot whilst they run crowd loitering in that area. Easy pickings for somebody who's good and confident. Super confident running and gunning, you can probably get another lane at that other Go Sports logo in the background and get an even wider kill. And this could all be done simultaneously as you are moving out. So it could be moving out to this corner bunker. It could be standing up moving out here to this tall tower. And this tall tower initially has, I feel it's a great bunker, and one that is probably going to be the most utilized. One thing I'd love to see, by the way, from Go Sports is, I don't know if you guys ever watch cricket, but they have these statistics where as a batsman or as a bowler, this is where you've hit the last 200 balls, this is where you've pitched the last 200 balls as a bowler. What I would love to see is some breakout statistics of, over the last 300 points, this is where players have broken. So what are the highly populated, taken almost every point bunkers? What are the roll the dice, rarely taken bunkers? Then you could add a layer onto that of, when they take this bunker, they won. When they take this bunker, they lost, etc. Hopefully we'll see that level of analysis come in the future, but I'm a big believer that that only comes with support. So if you guys are yet to sign up and are thinking about it, consider it, because you know, the more people who do and the more people who see it and experience it and support it, the more cool things like that we can all achieve. Now, what I like is you got good shots to that tall cake. So if anybody's trying to use that as a platform to then go up to the brick on the snake side at a later date, you can maybe contain them. From this tall tower though at the back, you don't have much chance of doing anything stopping them getting to the snake. If they go wide early and go to that win bunker, mini win, or to that brick, yes, you've got shots. Yes, you've got shots on snake too. Typically, I feel they'll have the advantage though, because you don't know what, you're trying to contain 3 potential bunkers. They're trying to kill one opponent at one bunker. So if you get caught there, I feel it's discipline comes into play. If we look D side, and by that I mean you got to choose. Do you want to keep battling? Because that's really what you're, you know, you can move out of snake 2 back to that win. You can move around the tape side of that win into the wedge, etc. You can wrap around the wedge and get a really good angle, this angle here on you. So, you know, it's kind of, it gets small in here if they're dominant up the tape. I feel that you got a tough gig D side as well, because look at these guys. So the corner can shoot you on the wrap. D1 can shoot you inside and outside. D2 can shoot you inside. The wing can shoot you inside and, you know, semi little wrap around that knuckle. Yeah. D3 can shoot you. This is a tough gig playing this. Although it's nice to get to, once you're there, it's kind of get churning early. And by that I mean get some eliminations to make your life easier. It's a gun skill field. I like it. Okay, if you came wide, if you came out to this corner, typically I don't think you're going to be running and gunning. I think you're going to be head in the dirt, get me in there alive. When you're in there alive, let's get real in there. When you're in there alive, you want your sunglasses on so you can cope with this glow. You're tanning. Now, inside, infield, you can take a shot. Snake 2 could possibly pinch you, as you see on the right hand side. You could possibly be getting dropped on by that snake side mini win tape bunker. There's plenty of shootable corridors coming in here. I think, what's this little lane? Yeah, little lane's there by that can, little lane behind the can. Blind shoot central. This is, see that tower? They're also going to fish and get some paint in this area too. Tape side, you got another corridor of death. So this is one of those suck it up buttercup bunkers where if you choose to go there, just be mindful that it's going to get bad. It's And it's only going to get worse the longer you stay there, because every single kill is a kill that you will have had to earn with gun skills. There's no kill you can get from here that is an easy snapshot, that is an easy, get up and bunker the guy. Everything is, this is an island, and everything you want to achieve is far away from you. Everything you want to stop is far away from you too, right? So you're going to see you've got no ability to control the tape line as much as you want. You don't really have an option to edge either and get out to this tape line and then quickly come back in, because look at who can shoot you. Brick, tower, back center, other tower, every Dorito, tape line. So that's not a risk worth taking. You could go round and forward into this guy. We still got a lot of people who can pick you off. You could go inside. You'll be wary of that back can and forward, and also that front tower. It depends how capable you are of cutting this corner. If you can cut this corner of this back D side, and this is for the inside move and the outside move, if you can cut this corner and go straight round so that you're in line with D2 and 3, and by in line I mean in line with the center of D2 and D3, you greatly enhance your life expectancy moving out of here. I think this bunker will be used though. I think it'll be used off the break, but I think it'll be used for the wrong reasons. And I think those reasons will be players feel obliged to get width and they don't know how to do it better. I think how to do it better is if you are fast enough to get to a corner, you're also fast enough to get here. If you're fast enough to get here, you're not far from being fast enough to get into this area here, and that gives you options of, did you just break to D3 off the bat? Sorry, D2 off the bat? Or did you break to the mini wall? They don't know. So, or mini win rather. If you're in here off the bat early, there's a scramble. You can go inside, you can go outside, but you have options. And options is what this is all about. This isn't a layout where you can reasonably expect to kill 5 players off the bat. This is a layout where you can practically guarantee they won't know what you've done every single time, or what all 5 players on your team have done every single time. So it's a quest for information layout. This is a find the bodies and deal with it. And I think, very early on, before any teams really got out there and played, this is the type of layout where I think AC Dallas are gonna thrive. I think that they're very good at finding the bodies, and this layout is going to differentiate them or allow them to showcase that skill above other teams. This is that I think the Russians are going to have a field day on this layout, because they're not adverse to doing something crazy. They're physically one of the most capable squads in professional paintball, and that's without their amazing gun skills and just ability to turn it up a gear when they need to. So we're going to see some great moves, we're going to see some great breaks. What I like is there's so much uncertainty of, did he break D3, or is he in this tape side bunker, is he in D2, etc, etc. And I think all of that adds into how you choose to play this field. Let's say you break D2. You got a good crossfield shot on Snake 2 early. You can choose to battle this corridor of death. You can choose to get wide. Towers are going to be fishing through the Ds. You can see, that central brick is going to be fishing. There's going to be a heavy central influence. I think that both of these bricks, let's get high for a minute, both of these bricks here are going to be played a lot off the break, and they're both going to fish and try and control their opponents moving in these areas. And I think this is where it's going to get really, oops, apologies. This is where it's going to get really interesting, because this D side gap, let me give you the look. So if you're capable of breaking to this brick, look at all these holes you can fish. If you know they've got there, you got great windows of opportunity between all of those Doritos up to these wedges. I mean, just look at that. That's such a great lane. You know, all of these we're going to see. This is the one layout I don't think I would especially like to ref, because so much can happen so fluidly. Let's go back to our D side. Okay, so into D2, probably 10 bunkers you can shoot. Great spot. D2 will be one of the most utilized bunkers off the break, is my prediction. When you're in this mini win, you got the wire, and identical to the profile on the snakeside wire. And this is where I think we're going to see a lot of teams experiment. You know, I'd love to see Billy Bonaccia play D-side for X Factor and throw, you know, Jesse Stevens, etc. down the snake and have a real strong attack. This is such a good layout for facilitating that. Same battle, or very similar battle, in that you got to go quite far to get a good wrap shot on that corner. You got to go a long way, actually. So let's just give it a little more height. So from this win, you're not wrapping on the corner here. From this wedge, you don't have a great wrap shot on the corner either. You know, that player can live. It's only when you go past this that you start to get that edge profile, a shot on that edge profile. Let's look inside from here. I gotta give another huge shout out to Guns Up. This software blows my mind every single time I use it, and hopefully I get marginally better at using it. So, good inside shots. Tape to tape, I like. Big corridors here, but really you're not going to fish from a bunker like this. You're stuck in and trying to make something happen. Relatively blind to snake 2, which is good, unless you're super sloppy. Relatively blind to everyone, so potential to make that inside move, obviously with the caveat of the brick not being sat there waiting to torch you. You can make this little bump up to D3 without the can shooting you, unless, you know, they're fishing and they have a line of paint just waiting. It's going to be, this is the low and fast field. Dive, duck and dive inside, duck and dive outside. Get up to here. You got the snake fill. You've got, oh, you're pretty safe. I like that. You're pretty safe from the snake side tape line. You got the big brick to deal with. You got the well, you got both central bricks to deal with, as you see there. You've got that temple, the gateway to the snake. You got the back center. You got that tower, front tower, and then back tower. Then you got every D if you choose to wrap so far inside. I think the bigger shot's going to be clear the wire, or the more frequent shot's going to be clear the wire. Go to their wedge, kill the snake, then get these kills. So this really is a duck and dive field. Once you're up in their wedge, you've got, again, you've got the choice of the wire. Do you want to go to the wire? Do you want to deal with the fact that the corner can shoot you? Or do you want to stay low, guarantee the kill on the back sender, then check inside, get the kill on the snake side corner, on the snake side tower, temple, then potentially play with the tower? You don't have to. I mean, let's see, if you've killed that back sender, you can kill the can and the temple here, and corner has to launch to kill you. again, stay low. You're probably not even worried about what's happening in the snake if you're wrapping around the corner, because when you're here, you got the snake who's probably not looking at you, and you can shoot 1, 2, 3 in the sense of snake 1 and snake 2 and that mini wind bunker on the tape line. Wrap, kill the corner, kill D1, kill that tall tower, triple check back center, hold back line, don't run out of bounds, hit that buzzer, jobbed. Initial thoughts for you is that, let me just get to, there we go, super playable layout. I think that Snakeside is a go big early, but you've got to have the right players there. It can't just be a cannonball. This isn't a cannonball layout of, let's send our fastest, most scud-like guy to the snake. When they die in the first minute, we're going to fill it with another guy. This is a, your Justin Cornell, play the snake smart. This is your Alex Goldman, play with the appropriate pace. This is the Billy Bonaccia, grind out kills from the snake because you are self-sufficient. Every snake player that thrives on this layout will be self-sufficient. They will not have the luxury of somebody being able to look after them all the time. There'll be moments where the back players can say, I've got the line. There'll be moments where, the back players can say, I got the inside, you go. But there is not the certainty of that all the time. D-side, I feel it's a similar scenario, but I feel that most of the time D-side players are more self-sufficient than Snakeside players, because they typically don't have the luxury of somebody looking after them. They generally tend to just, go and do it. I think it's a great layout. I think it is, what fascinates me about this particular layout is that it's one of the hardest to control. So I think teams will have to evolve how they play it. I think it's a great opportunity for everybody to get out there for the next 2 weekends prior to the event. The sooner you embrace getting out of your comfort zone, the easier things become in terms of giving yourself the time to digest the information, process it, and improve what you're doing. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please feel free, hit the like button, share it amongst all your friends. If you're new to the channel and you want to subscribe up and get the heads up of everything, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to get notified. Have fun, go out there, learn to play better paintball. Thank you guys for checking it out. Appreciate it.